So, welcome back to episode 1, part 2. So, please, if you are still joining us, I will advise you check the first part, that is episode 1, part 1 of the Blue Therapy Analysis section. So, you are welcome to part 2. And here, in this video, I will continue from where I stopped from the previous section because I don't want the video to be extremely lengthy. So let's get down to the business. Then CHIOMA complained that Paul has a lot of friends, and she feels that he feels that he has fame, and when it comes to finances, that he doesn't fit in, but he fits in just as a friend to her. So from my analysis, if Paul is hanging out with friends, then those friends are useful to him or to his profession or to his career, because cancers don't keep a lot of friends and they are hard workers and don't keep so many friends unless those friends are important to him, especially in the place of their career, that's or their profession or whatever they do to make a living. Cancer will value that friendship a lot, but generally they are not the type that keep a whole lot of friends. So if he spends his time hanging out with people, just know that those people are people that help him to secure the bag. CHIOMA again complained that Paul spends a lot and goes back chasing the bag and neglecting her, or their alone time or their love time. And me, that's my own analysis, it is a cancer trait to spend a lot with the hope of going back to hustle and might neglect love in the process, as they see it as a form of responsibility and duty. They will give you everything, spend a whole lot, and then get back to work. And in that process, they will focus, because they are very intense people, they will focus and probably forget giving you some attention at that moment, but it will not last for so long, just at that moment of securing the bag and coming back home to you. So Paul explained how is the brokest among his billionaire friends, that it affected his mindset and helped him to grow his income exponentially. Like I said, cancers keep friends that are important to them. He actually confirmed it in his words that those people affect his mindset and helps him secure the bag. They only keep friends that are very important to them and helps them to grow their money or their business or whatever. It should be important friend. Cancers don't just keep friends anyhow. They don't like hanging out too much with friends. But whenever you see any cancer hanging out with friends, it means that that friend is useful to him. CHIOMA also complained that Paul spends a lot of money on his car and his home, on his car, and he spends a lot of money. To me, it's a cancerian trait again, that they will spend so much money on their cars. They love to keep their cars neat and in a good shape, or buy new ones. Cancerians keep their cars and their homes. They spend a lot of money for their car and their home, because they treat these two things, their home and their car, they treat it as a temple. So they will do anything to make sure that their home front is comfortable for them, because just as their spirit animal, the crab, like that shell of the crab, their home is like a shell to them. Whatever they finish hanging out with friends or doing anything or business or work, they run back home to hide in their shell, which is their home or their car. So they treat these two things as a temple. So as for me, it's a cancer trait. It's not a problem at all. CHIOMA also complained that Paul actually invests without return. That's why you can see him in casinos or something like that. Cancers are risk takers. That is my own analysis. They are risk takers. They are cardinal signs of the zodiac. So they have this beginning energy. Cardinal signs are the signs that begin things. So cancers have a beginning energy, and this makes them risk takers. They always like to venture in things even without knowing the outcome, because they are very optimistic natured natives. So they always believe that things will turn out well. That is, they always have a positive mindset over anything. And when they invest and they didn't get any return, they take it in good faith because they are natural risk takers. Then, coming to CHIOMA, when CHIOMA said that she suffers at the expense of his investing for nothing, Paul asked her, "Am I nothing to you? Or am I nothing?" This is a typical cancer trait right there. When Paul asked her, "Am I nothing?" Because he is a Cancerian and they are very emotional. That question comes from a place of emotion, because cancers always come from a place of emotion and seek constant validation. So asking CHIOMA, "Am I nothing to you?" is actually a subtle form of asking for validation. They always want validation and reassurance from their lovers or from people. Because he was disappointed from CHIOMA even exposing the relationship to the world for therapy, he is already disappointed in the whole idea and even CHIOMA herself. So he asked, "Am I nothing?" While CHIOMA comes from a place of logic, she is a logical thinker, and the other one is an emotional thinker. So that is incompatibility number 3. CHIOMA is logical about everything, while Paul is emotional about everything. He asks emotional questions. That when they were busy throwing rants on each other, while CHIOMA was putting her facts straight like a logical thinker, Paul was still coming from the place of emotion, asking, "Am I nothing?" That is from a place of emotion as a water sign, as a Cancer native. But CHIOMA comes straight from the point of logic of what should be done and what is not to be done. CHIOMA said he liked Paul's drive. That is why they are even together in the first place. She loves his drive as a human being. That is why they are still together. But she feels that they need to strike a balance, that she needs love as well. My analysis now. Librans, that is CHIOMA, are all about balance. They always strive for balance and equilibrium. That represents their representation on the zodiac as the scale. They are the only zodiac that is not depicted by an animal. They actually represented by the scale, which means balance and equilibrium all the time. So they are very logical and they always seek for balance and equilibrium in whatever they do or in their entire life. So Cancers are emotional and they give love. She said that they want to strike a balance, and that Paul has turned everything to work and there is no more love. But from my own analysis, Paul is a Cancerian and they give love, but Librans always play aloof in relationship and they are too logical with virtually everything. They are very logical in their mindset. So in all their approach to everything, they never comes from a place of emotion. They always come from a place of logic and never from a place of trying to see things from their partner's perspective. It's all about them and their logic. So this automatically makes Paul, as an emotional water sign, to shut down on his emotions. Paul will shuts down on his emotions, immediately Chioma starts bringing so much logic in the relationship. Mind you, when they came together, they fell in love with their rising signs, which is what people perceive them as. So Chioma must have perceived Paul as something, so as a good, fun-loving guy and all that. And Paul perceived Chioma as a compassionate, because he actually said that in episode 5. Sorry to bring it up now, that Chioma was compassionate and all that, because Chioma's rising sign was showing some degree of compassion, probably a little, that it's not enough for a water sign to be compatible with a water sign. So now, as the relationship is getting older, they are living with the true personality, or what I call the core personality, or the true personality of who they are, which is their sun sign, which makes up about 60% of who they are. So for Chioma to be aloof in a relationship as a Libran and always bring up logic in everything, this makes Paul to start to shut down on his emotion and mirror her. Cancers do not have the specific emotion of their own. They mirror whatever the partner brings on the table. If you are so loving and caring, and they will give it to you. If you are so logical and practical and with everything, they will become like that to you. Cancers mirror their partner. Whomever they are in the relationship with, that is what they mirror and bring out. If you become very logical, they switch from being emotional to being logical like you. If you are so practical, they will switch from being emotional and become practical like you. That was where all their problems started from in the first place. And he stopped seeing Chioma from the emotional aspect. That was why Chioma said, we are not business partners, we are actually in a relationship. Because Paul has shut down his emotions and started seeing her as a logical person and bringing logic to her doorstep all the time. Back to Chioma. Chioma said she works and she feeds him, but she doesn't feel or get like she gets it back, that it's unrequited. And the therapist asked Paul, do you think that you give much as you receive? Paul said, I thought I did, but in my own analysis, the truth of the matter is he doesn't even know that he only mirrors what his partner brings on the table without knowing. He doesn't even know, but that is a typical trait of a Cancer. They will mirror whatever you bring on the table. So he doesn't even know this aspect of him. So if Chioma feeds Paul and feel that Paul is not giving enough or bringing enough on the table, then it means that she isn't giving him enough. What I mean is that she isn't tapping into her emotional side, because Cancers are compassionate. They are very compassionate people, but their compassionate side comes out when they are emotional. And if you continue to bring logic on the table, he will mirror you and become logical like you and stop bringing emotions out. And he will become more of a logical Cancerian. So, back to Paul. Paul asked, do you trust me? Even when all the emotions were high and tantrums up and down, people, Chioma airing her own grievances and her own problems, Paul was still asking questions, do you trust me? Still coming from the emotional side. Because Cancers value trust, love, and compassion the most. They place so much love on trust, so much value on trust, loyalty, compassion, and love as a water sign that they are. So when all the drama was still going on, Chioma saying her things, he was still coming from the emotional angle, asking, do you trust me? So going to Chioma's side, Chioma said Paul erased all the love in their relationships and turned it to work. So from my analysis, this simply means that she is bringing a lot of logic on the table. And because because Librans are ruled by Venus, which is the planet of luxury, beauty, and material things. She is bringing a lot of logical mindedness and love for material things on the table. Love for hairs, expensive clothes, expensive shoes, and all that, because Librans love all this and can't do without them. And that is why they spend most of their time on Instagram looking for new things and new styles. Because when the relationship she actually confirmed that when the relationship started, that Paul was always there for her and they do music together and all that. But Paul was there for her, showing her love. But when she kept going, when the relationship kept going, at some point, she was feeding logic on the table, bringing logic in everything that Paul does, and never comes to Paul from the emotional angle. Paul now started feeling that he is the only one putting in effort to make the relationship work. Like the whole effort is coming from his side, and at some point he started feeling like, I am the only one putting this effort, that this woman is too logical. Then he started shutting down his emotions. He shut down his emotions and start to mirror her and put in the same energy and the same frequency with her. That is why it's like Paul shut down some of his emotions and gave or focused his attention to work. This is typical of Cancer and Scorpio personality. Once they love you deeply and intensely, and love you to the point of clinginess and too much attachment. And unfortunately, you will take advantage of that and start playing aloof or starting behaving as if that he can or she can do without you. They will simply withdraw their emotions and put it or attach it to their career or to their job, and start to love their job immensely more than their lover. So CHIOMA said she is not a wood, that she is a woman, and Librans, that she's a woman and she's not a wood. So from my own analysis, Librans are very sensual people. They love sex a lot because they are ruled by Venus, the planet of sexuality, beauty, and material things. And if neglected for quite a long time, they will find fulfillment from outside the shores of the relationship. So that if you didn't give them attachment, they will find their emotional fulfillment from the outside the shores of the relationship, because Librans, they are apart from being too logical, they have this attitude of, when things are not going too well in the relationship, they will continue to complain. They will talk to anybody that cares to know. They don't know how to, endure anything in a relationship. They will continue to talk, continue to complain, continue to talk to anybody around them to see if they can help or if they can give them advice. And in that process, somebody might take advantage of them because of their state of mind or their vulnerability at that moment. So it's okay, I will stop here for now. Watch out for the continuation of episode 1 part 3. I will continue from some of the things that most of the things that CHIOMA said and what Paul said in episode 1, and bring it up for us here. And like I said before, don't blame the individual, blame it on their zodiac sign, because that is the way they are born and that is the only psychology they know. And please go back to that video and watch it so that you will understand from where I am coming from, because if you have watched this video, understanding what I am saying here will be quite easy for you. Else you will be off and you won't understand from the perspective that I am coming. And please subscribe to my channel to get more analysis on the Blue Therapy update. Thank you, and remain my favorite, and bye for now.